Welcome back everyone, Mariah here, and in today's video we're going into more details when it comes to the Blockfi bankruptcy. So we're going to be getting into the amounts of money that we're talking about, more of the logistics, and what we can anticipate in the short and long term when it comes to Blockfi, the bankruptcy, getting your funds back. And then we're also going to be getting into the price of Bitcoin to see what Bitcoin is currently up to. So I just want to start by saying is that when it comes to Celsius, Blockfi, all of these bankruptcies, FTX, we must be patient. If you have funds on any of these platforms, having any expectation of 1, 2, 3 years of getting any money back is just the wrong way to approach this entire situation. I believe that you must anticipate that you're going to get nothing back. Don't expect anything back, okay? Lower your expectations and realize this is going to take many, many, many years. Now that we've learned that all these companies are so interconnected, it's probably going to complicate the process even more since they're all in the middle of bankruptcy, okay? So it's very unclear when it comes to the exact amount of assets and liabilities when it comes to Blockfi. So it's kind of hard to exactly understand the full picture, the full financial picture of exactly what's happening. What we do know is that FTX is the second largest creditor when it comes to Blockfi at $275 million. And many of the creditors actually are not listed on the form that came out that kind of shows the details of the bankruptcy filing. We also know that the representatives, the bankruptcy lawyers that are representing Blockfi is Kirkland and Ellis, and they're the same ones that are dealing with Celsius. And so what we know is that I think over about a month and a half period, they charged Celsius about $4 million. And so it's a very expensive process when these companies are filing for bankruptcy. Sounds like we all need to be in like the bankruptcy lawyer business because they are absolutely just racking it in, whatever the right term is. They are making bank. And so what sucks about all this is that obviously they're going to be charging Blockfi similar amounts of money, and that is just kind of basically eating away at potential funds that users could get back. And especially if this goes on for years, I mean, imagine like approximately $4,000 a month. And that's not including, employees still getting paid and all of that. So in the document, Blockfi pretty much goes on to blame FTX for their collapse. I would probably guess that Blockfi was so desperate that they did absolutely no due diligence on FTX. They were just waiting and ready and willing to be bailed out by anybody at that point. So that's pretty interesting. What else do we know? We know that Blockfi has approximately $256 million in cash, which really isn't much. And when it comes to FTX, we know the $275 million line of credit, and then, that $275 million borrowed and $400 million line of credit. And so the problem is that Blockfi held their funds on FTX, and the reason was due to supposedly trading activity. What else do we know? We know that Blockfi has loaned $680 million FTX affiliated hedge fund Alameda Research as part of Blockfi's broader lending business prior to the crypto crash that happened in May. What else do we know here? So Blockfi intends to seek a court ruling allowing customers in the Blockfi wallet program to withdraw their funds during the bankruptcy case if they wish. I don't really see that being all that likely. And then also in their filing, they went on to basically say, hey, we've been compliant. We've paid this $100 million fine. I think that $100 million fine should be returned to help pay back customers. And so in the court filing on Monday, Blockfi says it owes money to more than 100,000 creditors. Blockfi listed its assets and liabilities as, like I mentioned, between $1 and $10 billion. Obviously, that's a big gap there. The company sold a portion of its crypto assets earlier in November to fund its bankruptcy, and it entered bankruptcy with $256.5 million in cash on hand. So, like I said, that's what we know so far. I'm sure we're going to see the same process when it comes to Blockfi, with them actually putting out a document stating every individual user, their funds, And then if it is inaccurate, then you will need to probably file a claim report within a certain period of time, but none of that has happened yet. We're probably a few months away from that. I would say, you know, what we saw with Celsius, we're probably going to see very similar things happen when with everything that progresses with the Blockfi situation. So that's pretty much all we got there. Let's go and take a look at the price of Bitcoin. Bitcoin's sitting at just under $17,000. So Bitcoin obviously saw a bit of a jump. Let's see, the high 17,300, it got that high. It hasn't really changed much on the weekly chart. There's not much of a momentum shift. There's nothing here that would get me excited to jump in on Bitcoin or signs telling me that the bottom is in. Definitely not. This right here is a daily chart, which is looking a little bit better. And so we have a green 2 trading above a green 1. That's a positive sign. We've made a higher high. That's also a positive sign. We've seen this green cross over the red. Also a positive sign. But I would definitely anticipate a lot of resistance up here at about 18,000. So I think the Bitcoin has a little bit more gas left in it, but I would be shocked if it gets, you know, anywhere past $18,500. I see it definitely pulling back after that, even if it even reaches that point. And then, you know, next week or two. This right here is a 12-hour chart looking better. Also, same situation, making a higher high. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. 4-hour chart here is a little bit of a pullback. I would say needs to hold the low of this candle down here, which is 16.3. So technically, the 4-hour chart is still in a bullish posture, but we're seeing, like I said, just a little bit of a pullback. I'm actually considering getting into a position. I haven't seen like a very clear-cut entry point. At this point in time, I'd be looking for a swing trade to probably play out over a few days. And so I'm looking for a very clear-cut situation. I haven't really seen it yet, and that is because of what the hourly chart is showing us. So as soon as I woke up to this candle this morning, that made me kind of pause a little bit, and also the previous hours of action before it, kind of that sideways trading, and then Bitcoin has proceeded to make a lower low. So the hourly chart is not showing as much strength, and so that is what kind of stopped me from potentially entering a shorter term position. And so for me, what does that mean? That means probably buying, you know, a Bitcoin or two and looking for a trade over a few days for maybe like $1,000 gain, approximately $500 to $1,000 gain each coin, just a very, very small action. So let's go and take a look here at the 15-minute chart here. 15-minute chart, also not really giving us much. Let's take a look at the 5-minute chart here. So like I said, any small position that I'm getting into, I'm being very careful. Really want to see a lot of clarity in the charts, but really not getting that yet. So this is a 5-minute chart, trending a little bit upwards at the moment, giving us a little bit of some bullish action. But like I said, I would want more confirmation on other time frames, like at least the hourly. And mainly, I'm not interested at this point because of what the hourly chart is giving us. So we have Ethereum sitting at 1274, and I'm assuming that we're going to see similar price action, but I think it's important to always take a look at Ethereum because it kind of leads the way in some scenarios and kind of gives us some signs. And so that would be a really great tool to use or keep an eye on. And Ethereum looks, in my opinion, stronger on the daily chart, except it's just kind of trailing behind on the sequence of numbers. So I would like to see this green 3 trading above the green 2, but then again, it's coming really, really close to the 50 DMA where I'm anticipating some resistance at about the $1,300 range. Let's go ahead and take a look here at the 12-hour chart. 12-hour chart looks pretty good, making a higher high, anticipating a little bit of a pullback. Let's take a look at the 1 hour. And like Bitcoin, the 1 hour chart looks very similar and would have me not really wanting to enter a position because of the bearish posture. And this right here is a 30-minute, really also not giving us too much. Let's take a really just quick look here at the 5-minute chart on Ethereum. And so 5-minute chart not looking all that great. So I'm not necessarily trying to make a trade on Ethereum. I actually would prefer to make a trade on Bitcoin, but like I said, Ethereum sometimes leads the way. So we have Core Scientific at 14 cents. Gold has jumped a little bit today to just over $1,800. We have BNB at $291. Coinbase sitting at $45. Litecoin sitting at $77.47. What else do we got here? We have Filecoin sitting at 437, Dot at 537, Link at $7.61. Nexo coin sitting just about 64 cents. And let's go and take a look here at the majors. Let's go and take a look here at SPY. Let's go and zoom out to the daily chart on SPY, which actually is having quite a strong day. So we're going to keep really close attention here to the 200 DMA. It looks like SPY is taking a real shot at trading above it, but would want a few more days of confirmation. The daily chart looks really nice actually, and is in a quite nice upward trend. This right here is the hourly chart, also looking quite good. So with the kind of bump today in traditional markets, it relayed over to the crypto space. And so, you know, everything is kind of plus or minus a few percentages today. No really massive moves. It's funny because when Bitcoin is really boring for a week or 2 weeks, and then it has like a $500 move, it feels like so much. But in reality, I mean, there's been days that Bitcoin has swung, you know, $10,000, $10,000. So going to take a quick look at marijuana stocks. Ooh, interesting. We have Tilray sitting at $4.13. And I remember looking at this. I was looking at this yesterday. This green 2 trading where the green one was kind of interesting, but I wanted a bit more confirmation because I didn't really, this pullback seemed quite significant to me, although it did not make a lower low. But Tilray is up today over 6.5%. Yeah, so that's pretty much all that I have for you guys today. Going to be really interesting to see what Bitcoin does in the next week or two. But you know, this bottom I think is going to take a while. When we least expect it, I don't think it's going to come anytime soon. I don't think it's going to come this year, maybe Q1 of next year. But I'm still anticipating, you know, 10 to 13,000. I'll even put buy orders in at $8,000. But I think we're going to have just that really intense pullback of a day of like 30, 40, 50%. That's going to basically make everyone terrified. So that's all I have for you today. I have links down below if you want to support my channel. As always, go out there and create a portfolio that you love.